Hey, Bob Carr here with another episode of the Bob Carr Show. Joining us in the studio today on return visit, Mr. Jim Moran from Increte of Maryland. Jim, it's a pleasure. How are you, sir?
Marvelous. Always a pleasure to be here. Always grateful that you called me.
Absolutely, sir. Likewise. So what's happening in the world of concrete? There's always something new going on. What you up to?
Well, actually, there's not that much going on right now.
Oh, come on.
Things are just a little bit slow, but we're chugging along, So I don't really have anything that's, as you know, we make color for the ready-mix industry. That's my Mid-Atlantic pigment business, but Increte,
that's huge business.
Yeah. Increte has been chugging along since 1991. And installing decorative concrete, exposed aggregate, broom finish. Just completed a nice big 8,000 square foot pool deck up in Montgomery County for a community, and it was all integral die, and we cross-section broomed it. So
that's a big job.
Yeah.
So how did you get that job? Word of mouth?
Well, yeah. Customers, they know who we are. So when it comes to color, and it comes to doing color and doing broom finish concrete,
your name is right there.
Well,
come on.
And hopefully our name is still good out there.
Yeah, absolutely is good.
But with color concrete, one day pouring one day and then pouring the next day and pouring the next day, you've got to be real careful with the climate, with sunshine, all those different parameters.
Humidity,
all that will affect the color. So, we were very fortunate that 8,000 square foot came along when we started that 40 days of no rain. So
that's perfect.
It was a blessing for us, but not so
much. That hardly ever happens like that, does it?
That's right. So we were happy.
Are the folks up at the job site, they happy?
Absolutely. Very much so, yes. So
that's great when all that happens.
Yeah, that's right.
All the moons.
Stars align.
Yep, everything aligns, the stars, everything lines up.
Yep.
So what's happening in your future? What's your plans going forward?
Keep moving. I think maybe one of my sons is coming back and wants to get into the fray. So we'll see how that all turns out in the spring. So, he's living.
I think that'll be a great addition.
Yeah. Well,
I think he'll do a good job too.
Well, he wants to learn it. So I said, you better hurry up because I'm not getting any younger.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. So, because you've had a lot of guys like I do that've been with you a long time.
Yeah. I do remember when we first had those conversations of getting our workforce in place.
Yeah, it's been many years ago.
Yeah.
But you got some good people.
We really only have one installation crew, and they've been together for over 25 years.
Boy, do those guys work well.
Yes,
one
they
big
do.
Fluid team.
That's correct. They know, and I made it a point when I first started not to hire anybody that had any experience in the concrete business, and this way I could train them the way I want them to do it, and it's worked out well.
That's a good question. I've always known you from when you got out of the Marine Corps and doing concrete. But where's the transition? Where'd you pick up concrete from?
Well, we were doing when I got out of the Marine Corps, as you said, I went back to school and I was doing electrical engineering because I'd worked on electronics on the F-4 Phantom and was in the Marine Corps. But I was working in the summertime for another gentleman that did concrete. And he was doing it part-time. And he said, let's be partners. I said, okay. He goes, buy a piece of equipment and we'll be 50-50. That lasts all but maybe 2 years, and lo and behold, when I got married, he said, I don't want to be partners anymore. And I started, at that time, it was just James J. Moran Construction. We were building additions, decks, a little bit of concrete. I saw how the market was going. I saw the trends, and concrete was something that was a little more short-term on as far as how long you're on a job site, but something that we could do on a daily basis. So I focused on concrete. We started doing larger contracts like Pulte Homes, basement slabs, sidewalks, driveways, community walks, and that was taking a toll on me because at the end of the month when they paid you, you owed out so much for concrete and labor, you had that little bit left over. So one day I took two of my finishers and went down to Annapolis. This was back in, like 1990. And we drove up into one of the shopping centers where they had some stamped concrete. And I said, how do you guys like this concrete work? And they said, what concrete work? That's stone. And I said, that was it. 3 days later, I was on a plane to Florida, went through the seminar, bought the rights from Increte Systems for the Baltimore, Washington area, and the rest is history.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's when we moved in. I can walk to your office from my office, but that's when we moved in here in 1991. And, I hate to say this, I'm not a sharp businessman like you, Bob, but I started with really nothing. No business plan, nothing, just let's get after it. And
you come a long way.
Yeah, it has. So a lot of wear and tear. Yeah.
Absolutely. When I met your wife before I had met you. You had called for a quote, or she called, and it was over Ancient Court.
That's right.
And I pulled up there,
Yeah.
and she said, "You know my husband?" I said, "I know of your husband. We passed each other all the time, but we haven't got together physically to sit and talk, but we talk by cell." And she said, "Come here and take a look at this." And I was in there looking at the water source. I told you I need to come in the house. Was that okay? You said, "Yeah, absolutely." Yeah. Went in there, and you had your kitchen all pulled apart.
Oh, wow.
And she was mad, but pretended to be mad. She wasn't really mad. But she said, "My husband needs to put this kitchen back together. He goes 100 mile an hour like you. I don't know how you guys do this, blah, blah, blah." And I remember giving you a quote for a lawn sprinkler.
Oh, yeah.
Put the system in for you. And you and I became fast friends, business friends, everything really quick. And we've been together ever since, helping each other.
Absolutely. You got a heck of a memory, man. I don't know how you do it.
Do you remember that house?
I do remember that. I do remember tearing that kitchen apart. We were moving some plumbing around and remodeling in the kitchen and taking some walls out.
Yep, that's where I first met your father.
Yeah,
my father was there.
Yeah, my father.
You know, he introduced himself. We got to talking. Him and I became fast friends along with your mom.
Yeah.
You know, we used to go to their house in Bowie.
Yeah.
And helped him out.
Yeah.
Your mom was always good to us, making cookies all the time at Christmas.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
she still does that. Still
does. Miss your mom with that. You know.
Yeah. She's 94 and still, living the dream.
Yeah. But just missed that altogether with your mom and
Yeah.
your dad together when your dad passed. You know, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
And all them together. You know, they used to have some funny stories.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yep. He was a 20-year Marine. She was from Algiers, North Africa.
Was she?
Absolutely. She's
Okay.
French citizen.
Okay.
French, at that time occupied and controlled it. And her father was the consul general.
I got you.
He was the highest ranking official in Algiers for the French government.
Wow.
Yeah.
And your mom's 94 now?
Yep.
Okay.
94,
I hadn't seen her in a while. I remember when she went to the shore and everything.
Yep. She's living on the shore.
Okay.
My mother, we moved over to the shore, as you know, and my mother and father followed 5 months later, and then my Mary Beth's parents followed about a year after that. And then naturally, we move across the bridge. Everybody likes a little bit of space. Well, my space shrank, and not only did it shrink, but they are 4 doors apart from each other, so you can't go to one without going to the other.
Gotcha.
You know how that works.
I gotcha. But that was a good facility, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Is your mom still at that same facility?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Yep. She's in that same neighborhood. Yep.
Gotcha.
Doing
Great
the deal.
lady. Great lady.
Yeah. Wife does want to retire, but I told her no, she spends too much money. So she's going to keep at it.
Hey, Jim, if folks want to get a hold of you for a project around their home, how do they get a hold of you?
Oh, they can go to, if they want to just email me with their information, it's the letter J, Moran, Moran, at Increte, INCRETE, M as in Mary, D as in David.com.
How about at the office? How do you get a hold of Holly?
301-261-6748. And Holly's in the office. My brother Rick does all the estimating, so we've got it covered.
Jim, I appreciate you coming in the studio today
Anytime.
and talking with us, as
Anytime.
always.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this wraps up another episode of the Bob Carr Show. Stay tuned next week for another episode.